Hi all, Christian Bonadio here from HireQ. Wanted to take this opportunity as we come to the end of season 1 for Build Different to reflect on the first series and give thanks and say thank you to all of you who have tuned in over the course of the series. The whole idea behind Build Different when I brought the concept to life was to have conversations with different types of leaders from different walks of life and industries across the sport, retail, and consumer markets to showcase to all of you who are out there that regardless of the size of organization or the type of business that you're running, that there are different types of leadership approaches and leadership traits that will help you get the best of the people that you have at your disposal. And I think if I reflect on some of the conversations that we've had across the series to date, there's no doubt that there are so many great little practical insights that I thought came up. And a couple for me that really stood out, and I'll go all the way back to the launch episode with John Didalitza from the Melbourne Victory, where he talked about how initially his idea of dealing with the fan disruption episode that the Melbourne Victory team went through a couple of years ago, his natural instinct and the instinct of his peers across the organization was to just focus on the things that they control, almost put it to one side and not engage the team on what it was that was happening and just get down and really focus on training and go out and give a really improved performance for the next game. But the thing that they didn't anticipate was the impact on the players when the fan numbers were nowhere near what they'd been and the engagement from the fans were not there. And then what they ultimately found was that the individuals wanted an opportunity to work through it and understand why and talk through how that actually made them feel as a group and then how they as a group might then move forward. And reflecting on that, John was open to say that in hindsight, he would have made a different decision. He would have made a conversation and set up a conversation with the group to actually work through that and make them all feel like they had some involvement in what the next part of the direction that they needed to go in would look like, so that they felt like they owned it and they were accountable to it and they could go out and then execute on that. And I hear that a lot when I talk to leaders at the moment around this idea that, driving shared accountability comes from when you bring your teams together and have them actually build the North Star and the vision that you're going after. And then if I think about the conversation that I had with Sean Johnson and then Stephen Ballerini together, in that this idea that you can build caring environments without necessarily compromising on the accountability piece. And that also care comes from having those very open and transparent conversations with your people around what it is that they are capable of and how it is you can get them to get there. But also that it's important that you hold the line on what that standard and that minimum standard looks like so that that individual can realize their potential. Steve talked a lot about focusing more on the process as well versus the end outcome. And if you could focus a little bit more on perfecting that process and making sure that there's consistency in that more often than not, the end result is not only going to deliver what your expectations are, but it's going to help you over deliver as well. And then the final one that really kind of stood out for me was the conversation with Danny Zini, founder of Royal Stacks here in Melbourne. This idea that he wants to create a really happy workplace for his team and that his job is to give his people the stage to essentially go and be the people that they're capable of. But there's one condition on that. And that condition is that you bring your best. You bring your best every single day. You give everything that you can to meet the standards that Danny set for his people so that they can create those outstanding food experiences for their customers. And if the individuals in his world bring that, he will bring everything in terms of support, opportunity, and the scope to grow, make mistakes, grow, continue to learn and develop. But at the same time, if upon seeing what the environment is like and understanding what good looks like and the standards that are required, if that's not the environment for you, that it's okay to have that open dialogue and identify how you can transition out to go and find something that is going to realize the best from you. And for all leaders out there, I think that's a really important message, because not necessarily everyone is going to be the right fit for the organization that you're trying to build, but it's about having that open dialogue, holding people to a certain standard, but also you holding yourself to a certain standard so that everyone can realize what it is that their potential is. And that's what we're trying to do with Build Different, is identify how different organizations and different teams get great outcomes in different ways. So hopefully you've identified some practical tips along the way that you've been able to bring back to the business that you're leading, or that you've been able to bring back to your own career about how you can then go and move towards a leadership role in the future. Series 2 is already underway in terms of filming. We've got some great guests that are coming in. Again, a really diverse mix of individuals across the landscape here in Australia. So I'm really excited about it. If you've got ideas of who it is I should be talking to, please reach out. And if there's anything that we can do here at HireQ to support you in identifying how you find the right leaders and set up your teams in a way to realize outstanding performance, please don't hesitate to reach out. But for now, thank you for listening and watching Built Different. We've really enjoyed showing you all these conversations and look forward to seeing you in season 2.